Hello. Okay, today is day one. Wow. Today is day one of me being okay or trying to be okay with being perceived. And I feel like that's something I've been struggling with my whole life, and that's why only today I find myself to be in a position where I feel comfortable recording myself. I I've grown up on the internet, and there have been so many different personalities and ways of seeing the world and ways that you can present yourself. And I've found it to be very overwhelming because your first impression, like with reality, is very important. And I could never decide how I wanted others to perceive me or how I wanted my first impression to be to the world. And that's why I just never really did anything about it until now. So I'm really pushing myself to sit in front of a camera, say something, talk, and get comfortable speaking in front of an audience, because once this goes online, it's there forever. You know how it is. And I feel like I want to be in a position where I'm comfortable with at least being perceived by others, because I know that is something that is out of my control, and I will never be able to nitpick how people see me. Like, no, I'm actually like this, and that's actually a projection. No, I can't do it. So I am pushing myself to speak and just say whatever is on my mind, really, because I have a lot to say. I really have a lot to say. And I guess this is a really good first topic, which is being comfortable with perceptions of others towards me, even if it could be false or it could be a projection of whatever insecurities, biases, life experiences that they've had. So I'm just shooting my shot and trying to put myself out there, because I feel like that is the most important step, is to get past the first hurdle, which is to just post something with my face and be honest and be raw, be genuine, and be real. And I know all of those are synonyms, but that's how I feel. So I grew up in a pretty conservative society. I'm Filipino. And like with many other Asian cultures, I've had this idea ingrained in my mind that you have to behave this way and this way, and if you act this way and that way, then you're drawing so much attention to yourself. And if you do that, what are people gonna think of our family? What are people gonna think of our society? What are people gonna think of women? And all of those things. So I never felt comfortable being myself, because I always had to think about what other people would see me as and what that effect would be on the people who are around me. So I've always had to play this game, even though I didn't know it was a game, but it was always in the back of my mind. And I think only recently did I feel comfortable with letting that go and not really caring so much about what people would say about me. And I guess also being comfortable with the discomfort of people assuming things or thinking things because of how they were raised or how society has conditioned us to think a certain way about certain people. So I never put myself out there. I am just trying to fight that by being myself right now. And I think it took me such a long time to get here because I always wanted my first impression to the world to be my best self. And that would be Maia with good lighting, lots of, not really lots of makeup, but a decent amount of makeup, like polished and refined and presentable, and whatever that means. And I think I am fed up of making myself stuck because I'm the only person stopping myself nowadays from doing what I really want to do. And I feel like I'm somebody who has a lot of ideas and opinions to share with the world. And I am I'm the last person stopping myself. Like, I'm the only person there actually. So I said, I said to myself today, like, okay, you don't need to have the best camera, you don't need to have the best audio, you just need to say your shit and put it online for everyone to see. And just get over that first hurdle, because once you get over that, things flow from there. So this is me doing that. I don't want to overthink what I look like anymore or what everything else is supposed to be, because I also want my audience to feel like this is personal. Like, we're in my bedroom, I'm talking to you, like we're close physically. And I feel like that's what's missing nowadays. I feel like many people are trying to work so hard to maintain an image of themselves, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially if that's your truest expression. But it's gotten to a point where I feel like I'm overthinking things too much, and that's stopping me from putting anything out there. Hence the video and just recording sitting on the floor, because I don't care anymore. I'm trying to learn to not care about perceptions, and I think that's the main point of this video, is to tackle perceptions by just being honest. And I honestly thought that I wouldn't have anything more to say past 3 minutes, but I underestimate my Gemini side. So I guess I did have a lot to say, and I want it to be the kind of video where you just feel like this is unedited and you're getting the realest version of me, because I think authenticity is the most important thing when you're presenting yourself. Like I said, there's so many people who are trying to maintain this image, and maybe it's not who they really are. And I want to cut through that by just being here, sitting on the floor, in my bedroom. And what else do I want to say to the world? I guess the other thing that I really wanted to say was to just do the thing. And I think this is something that I'm also doing right now because, like I said, I grew up on the internet a lot, and I've seen so many YouTubers and content creators throughout my life, and I always felt like that was something that I could do as well, and I just never really knew how. And maybe after like 2 decades of consuming that kind of media, I guess I do really know how, and I think this is the best way to do it. So I'm pretty excited for what else I'm gonna whip up because I do want to share a lot of things to the world, and I know that what I have to say is of value and can help people. And I think that's also one of my main motivators to making content online and just sharing myself and what I think. And also setting an example to people, for people who may feel a bit intimidated to make all of their content really crisp and perfectly edited, because there really isn't one way to be creative and to share who you are. I think a lot of that is self-expression, and I don't want to get caught up in all the fancy schmancy video editing softwares and color grading and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm tired of letting it stop me. So yeah, this is my first YouTube video, I guess, and I feel like it's time. I feel like it's yeah, I feel like it's time.